Williamson makes it 3-0 Arsenal.
Welcome to another episode or another season of the Clockenders Podcast. We're here, we talk about all things related to Arsenal FC. Season started on Saturday on a good note, taking on Wolves, which could have been tricky, but the squad was able to handle it. As usual, like we do on this podcast, we'll go through the player ratings. We'll also talk about some new. We also talk about news that's going on at the club. Transfer window. It looks like it's coming to a close. It doesn't look like it's coming to a close. It is coming to a close. Another week and a half left. Still waiting on Mikel Moreno. I mean, this was hours away 2 weeks ago, but we're still here waiting. It would be a great deal if we can get it over the line. I think we will. I don't know what the holdup is, if they're haggling over. I don't know. I don't know if it's money or term or payment plan or what days of payment. I don't know what it is, but it's holding it up. But I see Mikel Moreno going somewhere because Real Sociedad is holding him out. They are holding him out of games. So the coaches even come out and said, well, there's clubs talking to him, so that's why we're not playing him. So I'm hoping it's Arsenal. It seems like from all the news that we get from Fabrizio Romano that he only wants Arsenal. But again, I don't say anything or I believe anything until the player's holding the shirt at London Colony. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Saturday came, 10 o'clock at the Emirates, 2-0. People still calling out for a striker. I don't know if we need one. This is not a knee-jerk reaction of scoring 2 goals on Saturday. I've been saying we don't need a striker for the whole summer. I shouldn't say we don't need a striker. A striker shouldn't be top priority. If you can get a world-class striker, go out and do it for sure. Make the team better, 100%. But to say that we are out, we just need a striker, that's it, and blah, 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 I don't think so. I look at the stats from last season where all the pundits and everybody, they need a striker, they need a striker, they need a striker. We scored a lot of goals. Scored a lot of goals. A lot. I was talking to people the other day, Liverpool fan. Whose attack would you rather have? Arsenal's or Liverpool? And he's like, well, Liverpool, 100%. What are you talking about? Salah, we got Jota, we have Gravenberch, we got Gakpo, we got this guy, we got Darwin Núñez. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty potent offense. Would you be surprised to know that Arsenal scored more goals than them last year? Arsenal scored 5 more goals than that Liverpool front 7. Because Klopp just bought strikers, it seems like. Arsenal scored 5 more goals than Liverpool last year and scored 5 less than City and lost the league by 2 points. If you're going to sit there and tell me we lost the league because we don't have a striker, no, you weren't watching last year. We lost the league last year or last season because we drew Fulham at home 2-2 while Fulham was down a man. Fulham scored while they were down a man. They were in 10 and they scored on us. The way this team plays, you score 1 goal, it's probably going to be enough. David Raya and the two Rolls Royces at the back, it's probably enough. You score 2 goals at home, it should be enough. We lost the league by 2 points. There are the 2 points right there, the draw at home against Fulham while they were in 10. And then a loss later on in the season, I believe, to Aston Villa. There's your losses. Now, if we lost the league and we scored 25 less goals than Man City, no, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, we need a strike. We need someone to bang in goals. Maybe Havertz isn't the answer up top, but he's doing the business. Gabriel Jesus looks hungry again this season to come back in and score goals. Saka's going to get goals. He scored and assisted on Saturday. He assisted Havertz's goal. Martinelli's going to chip in. Trossard's going to score. Odegaard's going to score. I mean, if you have the opportunity to go out and get a striker, if an opportunity to sign a striker comes about, yeah, sure, no problem, go do it. But to say that we need a striker, if we don't get a striker, the season's over, I don't buy it. So this coming Saturday, we have Aston Villa away, which is going to be a tricky game. I watched Aston Villa and West Ham on the weekend. First game of the season, I'm not going to make any judgments on what they look like. I don't think anybody really looked that good. Arsenal had a few holes and a few hiccups in their game as well. So did Man City against Chelsea. I watched Tottenham today. No one's really up firing. And I think it's because of the short vacation most people had. Like like most of the players that were playing in Euro, it's a very short vacation. Euros finished 4-5 weeks ago, and they're already back playing again. When most people that didn't make Euros or Copa America, they've been off since May. And those players are going to play for lower level teams. I'm just stating a fact. Most of the guys on the national team are going to be on the teams in the top 6, right? So just throwing that out there. So we'll get into the player ratings from the game against Wolves. I mean, this is going to be very short and sweet. These shows aren't going to be very long. We'll start at the back. David Raya didn't do much wrong. I think he set up Saliba and set up Partey for mistakes. So I'm giving him an 8 because he made an incredible save. I believe in the second half. He made an incredible save, which would have changed the game because I believe that was right before we scored. So I'm giving him an 8. Not a bad performance, just maybe the decision to distribute could have been better. Sometimes it's okay to just kick it up the field and reset. We're gonna press and win the ball back anyway. So sometimes it's okay just to get it out. It doesn't have to be tiki-taka pretty all the time. 80% of the time it can be. But there's going to be those 20% of the times where just put your foot through it. Just get it out. We'll get up and regroup. Like I said, we're going to win the ball back again anyway in the next 20 seconds. So it really doesn't matter, especially against Wolves. Ben White on the right-hand side, I gave him a 7. Really didn't do much. Defended well. Looked tired to me. Looked tired. A lot of the players looked tired. Declan Rice was one of the guys that looked tired. But again, we'll get into their ratings when we get down there. Ben White, 7. Saliba, I gave him an 8. Usually he gets a 9 from me every game. He's one of the best, if not the best defender in the world. I don't care about Van Dijk. He's the best defender in the world, William Saliba. I gave him an 8. It could have been very dicey if we're giving that ball away that he gave away against City or I would say United, but they stink. Who's good in this league? Chelsea, no. Or Villa, even Villa, if you give them that opportunity. Liverpool, so you give that opportunity to Mo Salah, something might happen. So just made that one mistake, so he gets that an 8 from me. Gabriel Magalhaes gets his customary 8. Always gets an 8 from me. Zinchenko really didn't do much wrong, but you can tell he's just not quick enough to play back there. And I hope Calafiori, who we signed in the summer, I hope Mikel Arteta was just saving him for the Aston Villa game, because with Leon Bailey on one side and Ramsey on the other side, and Ollie Watkins coming through, and those 3 switching positions all the time, he's going to get rinsed on that wing. He's going to get rinsed. He's not fast enough. He's not quick enough to play. So hopefully Mikel Arteta was just saving Calafiori for that game. And we bring him in for that. But again, didn't do anything wrong, but just the glaring lack of pace on some of the attacks from the Wolves was just, you're going to get burned most of the times if he plays Zinchenko there. Should be playing somewhere in the midfield. But anyway, that's a different topic for a different subject, for a different show. Thomas Partey probably gets the lowest mark of on the squad from this game, and it hurts me, fellow Ghanaian brother. But he very loose with the ball in possession. I know you just have to. I used to have a coach. He used to always tell me, "Okay, we're playing with a soccer ball. When you have the ball, the other team is going to want to try to get it from you. So you don't have all the time in the world to make decisions." And it looked languished and slow. And I don't know. I don't know if he didn't play that much during the summer. He didn't play anything in the summer, actually. So I don't know. He should be fresh and ready to go. And I don't know. Just didn't have it that game. But, I mean, everybody can't play 10 out of 10 every game. So hopefully this is his one bullet for the next coming 5-6 games. Martin Odegaard, again, was there, the captain, did a couple of nice things. Oh, but I gave Partey a 6, by the way, if I didn't say it. I gave Odegaard a 7. Did a couple of nice things. Not the imposing figure that I thought he would be for this game. Again, first game of the season. I get it. No problem. Looked fit, but just maybe there wasn't a lot of space in the midfield to be that creative. It's fine, but yeah, I mean, first game of the season, a 7. It's not so bad. Declan Rice, like I said before, looked tired, and I know he probably is because of the pretty much non-holiday he got from playing in the Euros, going all the way to the finals of the Euro, playing pretty much every minute of every game in the Euros as well for England. Got cramps at the end of the game. Never saw him get cramps last season, but he got a cramp towards the end of the game and had to come off. He gets a 7. Again, didn't do much wrong, just didn't look like his energetic self, which is good, which is a good sign that these guys, they're getting 7s when they should be getting 8s and 9s as usual. So it's not like they've fallen off and won't get back to that level. It's just that for this game, I don't think it was really there. Man of the match, Bukayo Saka. What can you say? A goal and an assist. Every time he got the ball, looked dangerous. It's just so funny to me. You know what he's going to do? He's going to cut in on the left hand. He's on the right hand side. He's going to cut in left, and he's going to line up and shoot, and still gets it off. Still gets the shot off every time. So just played fantastic. Was taken off with maybe 10 minutes to go. Get him a little bit of a rest. This is the kind of season that guys you're gonna have to look to get guys rest. And Mikel Arteta and Edu have done a great job in the transfer window to get backup players that, we can take this guy out and still the quality doesn't drop off that dramatically when we put on Trossard for it. Trossard usually comes on for Martinelli, but I think you can interchange those two for subbing reasons at any time. I believe Trossard should have been starting, but again, different topic for a different show. So Saka gets man of the match for me. 10 out of 10. Great performance. Gabriel Martinelli, 7. Looked dangerous at times. Maybe a little bit slow in the decision making. When to cross, when to shoot. Again, first game of the season, I'm not going to be too critical or too harsh. If we're still making the same mistakes in December, then we'll talk about it. But I'm going to give him a 7. And our guy up top, Kai Havertz, gets an 8. Me giving Kai Havertz an 8. I remember when he came into the team from Chelsea, I was the first guy against playing this guy, but he showed his worth. It looks like he's been reimagined by Mikel Arteta. He looks like he's engaged in the team. Most of the times when I used to watch him at Chelsea, it just looked like he wasn't interested in playing. But here at Arsenal, he's fighting for every loose ball. He's fighting for every head ball. Yeah, he gets choked on the field and nothing happens. He looks like he's ready. He's gearing up to have one of the biggest seasons. And that's why I think if you don't need to spend 125 million to bring in Osimhen or someone like that, then I don't think you have to. Now, Havertz gets injured. Gabriel Jesus gets injured. If those two are out at the same time, And you can look back on my comments and say, well, see, we didn't buy a striker. Now look. But you can say that about any position on the field. Again, we're looking to bring in Mikel Moreno. I'll finish off the ratings. Kai Havertz gets an 8, almost man of the match, but he gets an 8 from me. Arteta, did he get the lineup wrong? 2-0 win at home, clean sheet? I don't think so. I would have liked to have seen Calafiori, but again, maybe he's resting him for what's going to be a very difficult Aston Villa game away to Aston Villa with, like I said, Bailey and Ramsey and a front three of Bailey, Ramsey, and Watkins. It's and Amadou Onana. So, I mean, it's gonna be a tough game. They're gonna be up for it. Definitely, they're gonna try to prove to everybody that they're a Champions League team. Unai Emery is probably gonna want to get one over on Arteta, on Arsenal, former employee. But Unai Emery is, I thank God every day Unai Emery coached us, because he bought William Saliba. So for 27 million, by the way, guys, 27 million, he bought William Saliba. So Unai Emery will always have a soft spot in my heart, but I still want to beat him. So that game's at 12:30 on Sunday. It's the late game. You get to watch all the games before. We're not at the point in the season yet where we're watching wins and losses and all of that. But I mean, this is a big game. The first 5 or 6 games are pretty big. I think we play Villa, we play City coming up. We have a game against Tottenham after the international break. We have a tough beginning to the season. So this win against Wolves was key and vital. These are the games. These are the Fulham games from last year that you can't draw, you can't lose. Like these points that we dropped last year are these points that we dropped last year are critical. The critical reason why we didn't win the league. Obviously. Again, we finished 10, 15 points away from winning the league. It's different. But 2 points and a draw against Fulham at home, it bothers me. And I said this to somebody last year when we were watching. I said it in maybe November, December. I said, remember that draw against Fulham at home. Remember it. It'll come back and bite us in the ass in the end. And sure enough, it did. But Arsenal after the break last year were fantastic. I mean, they lost 1 game to Villa, I believe. They were fantastic. They're scoring for fun. But we need a striker. So, anyways, if you're able to pry that striker from Sporting away, do it. I'm not paying 70 million for him though. If you're able to get Osimhen on a deal, if you're able to get whatever other striker you're looking at, a guy like Zerki that went to United would have been fantastic. Like that goal he scored on Friday that's a striker's goal. He drops into the midfield. He can play them the false 9, and he's big enough and strong enough and fast enough and skilled enough to still get on the end of the ball and finish that. That was a fantastic goal. It's not going to make highlight reels, but just see where he was the one Bruno Fernandes started off the play, but he passed it to him. And this is just over center. And look how the ball moved, and look where he was to get into the box to score it. So it's a great goal. He would have been perfect. Pick up Calafiori and Zerki from Bologna. You get a little $90 million deal there for both. Could have happened, but didn't. But it's all good. So, guys, that's all I have for you today. It's quick and sweet, not really much to talk about. We'll talk more about the team and how it's set up when the transfer window is closed. And this is the team that's going to be playing day in, day out until the end of January, the beginning of January when the winter window opens. We really don't buy anything in the winter. But we'll discuss more about positioning and who should play the starting 11, who should play in, day out. I already have my feelings on Martinelli and Trossard, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and then we'll talk more about that. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed, we're on YouTube, obviously. You can see at the top there, we're on TikTok, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on Amazon Music, we're on Instagram, we're everywhere. So if you have anything that I've said in this podcast that you think that I'm totally wrong, or you do think that we absolutely 100% need a striker, let's have a conversation. I return all the messages, so let's I respond to all the messages, I should say. So let's have a conversation about it. But I don't think a striker is that much of a priority. I know all the pundits and the fans want it. I mean, you have the opportunity to get the best midfielder in Europe. You want to get a striker instead? I don't know. I think you get the best player. I think you get the best player. If the best player is not the striker and it's a midfielder, you bring the midfielder in. That's my personal opinion, but whatever. So, guys, as usual, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.